Greetings, everybody. I hope you're doing well. This is the Crypto Wonder. Welcome to the Crypto Wonder Show. Now, I'm gonna start this off by saying I used to watch a show many years ago called Charlie's Angels. Or was it Mission Impossible? Was it Mission Impossible? No, I think it was Charlie's Angels. Anyway, I'm dating myself. The agents, if you will, or the angels would receive a mission through some type of cassette. Or was it Mission Impossible? I'm getting it both. I think it's Mission Impossible. It's not Charlie's Angels. The mission would be given to people in whatever team of agents through a video cassette. Not a video, but a cassette tape. And then at the end, before everything was all said and done with the message, you were told, or the people were told, that this message will self-destruct, and the tape starts to go up in smoke, and the show would begin. The tape self-destructed. I see this whole thing of this level of self-destruction, self-implosion taking place with some people in the community, in this DeFi space, and specifically in the Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX community. And it's interesting because it seems like certain things that were talked about over the years by the founder of Pulse Chain, Hex, and PulseX, these crypto knowledge, if you will, that was disseminated to everybody who cared to listen, is not really being upheld, or people don't believe in it anymore. I don't know if it's because Pulse Chain didn't do 10,000x or PulseX didn't do 10,000x already. So it's sort of like a wash. So what people are doing now is taking their chances elsewhere, because again, it's this element of chance that's present, this element of being lucky, this gambling type of situation that's taking place where, listen, this is not working right here, they're going to try their luck at something else. And those things that are identified as something else are projects that people are purporting to help the ecosystem grow. Not only help the ecosystem grow, but those projects are being acknowledged as something that's better than the layer 1 blockchain and the DEX that accompanies the layer 1 blockchain. I find that a little bit disturbing, in a sense where the disturbing aspect is, what happened to learning that delayed gratification is a thing? What happened to believing in what real crypto is supposed to be about? What happened to that? See, when you think critically, and when you complement the critical thinking and analysis with certain facts that go above feelings, people get upset, because this is what's going on, and this is just my opinion. I think folks are caught in a position where they don't even know what to do anymore. They're caught in a position where they sacrificed for a long period of time. You can't say that you got scammed because Pulse Chain is here and Pulse X is here. The fact that they didn't perform yet as well and as high as far as price, it's almost like you fud yourself out of the situation before even giving it a chance to grow. We're not even in a real bull market yet. Of course, we're in the bear still. We're not even in a real bull market yet. The movie is just about to come out. And in a matter of 65 or so days, people don't have the same amount of tokens they had when they sacrificed. Some exited altogether or got involved with other communities. Ideally, there's nothing wrong with that because in the spirit of adoption, you want people from other communities to participate on the chain. I get all of that. But what I don't understand is when you call people out. It's not even about calling people out. You call certain behaviors out, because it doesn't matter if you call one person out. There are many people that behave like that one person. So you call certain behaviors out that sort of like goes against believing in the reason why Pulse Chain is even here. That goes against believing why Pulse X is here. You're talking about these things are supposed to complement and work with Hex. If you're going against individuals who saying what happened to obtaining T-shares, what happened to staking long term, what happened to respecting Hex for what it is, they'll call you names and insults. That's the only retort you get, like, oh, you're just a Richard Hart supporter, toxic maxi. It's disingenuous to me because this is not about liking a man. It's not about just simply supporting the founder. Okay? It's about appreciating what the tokens have done and what they can do, and the probability of them doing very well in the future through the code, through the math, and things of that nature. It's not about, right, just liking a person. A lot of people, they don't know what to do when the truth shines on them, right? And what do I mean by that? Because when you're on a stream, or you engage in a stream as a content creator or as a so-called influencer, and you have people on your panel and people are saying things, because now it's weird. Like, what position are you playing? Are you a journalist, right? Are you a reporter? No, you're a streamer. Just like me, I'm a streamer. I just do whatever. I blog, stream, create content, and I just put it out there. And if I have somebody that's on my stream, which I don't, but let's just for hypothetical, and the person tells me something that I do not agree with altogether, and I don't check that person. If someone comes on my stream and tells me they don't believe that the T-share rate will increase the price for Hex long term, and I'm supposed to be a believer in Hex, and I wasn't even in Hex day one. I actually hated Hex. I didn't care for Richard Hart at all. But that's neither here nor there. If I hear someone tell me they don't think the T-share rate is going to help the price of Hex go up over the long term, and I don't provide any type of retort or rebuttal, it's almost like I'm in the eyes of a viewer, because this is what I've seen. It's almost like I'm thinking, well, then I believe with what was said. because I'm not in a position to give journalism. I'm not in a position to report. I'm basically allowing someone to speak and maybe, at best, interviewing them, right? If I don't give them any type of response going against that viewpoint, then it's almost as if I'm complicit and I agree with what was said. And how can you really be a Hexican or call yourself a OG Hexican if you let that go? I don't understand, because the only way it makes sense to me using logic is if you are also in bed with the person who's saying that, in a sense where you have your monies, you invested, you gambled, and tried your hand of luck dealing with a shiny new project. And the last thing you want to do is FUD the shiny new project, because that would mean you would lose your money. It would affect your bag. Keep it real, but see, people don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. And that also creates confusion, because people are talking about how it's so convoluted. This whole thing is a mess. People are talking about you need to onboard. How do you onboard people if you know Richard Hart is not talking about other communities and other other communities into other projects from good people who are creating. There are good people creating projects everywhere on every different blockchains. And he's always said, as far as RH, like, what does Vitalik, for example, ever talk about? And Pulsechain is a system state copy of Ethereum. What does Vitalik always talk about? Ethereum. But these things are not challenged by the naysayers, and the naysayers meaning those who don't believe in Pulsechain anymore, who don't believe in PulseX. They say they do, but what they believe in is their own project. That's what they believe in. They may try to tell you something different, as if they're, trying to help the community grow and expand and provide, utilization and et cetera, et cetera. What they're doing is they found a way to take money, a clever way to take money from the same community that they were so-called a part of and enrich themselves. It's not about doing you any favors. What favors do you think? You think people just wake up today and say, I'm going to see how I can do an entire community of people who I'll never meet a favor by creating a project that's going to complement, if not enhance, whatever they have going on in whatever ecosystem they're in right now? Do you think for a second, with millions of dollars on the line, millions of dollars, people are going to really, and saying things like they don't understand how the T-share rate is going to help Hex, do you think that's somebody that's really helping your community grow? And OG Hexicans haven't had any pushback. It makes me think they haven't offered any pushback. Not visibly, maybe in private, but not publicly. And again, it makes me think and also understand that it's this thing of collusion. You have your monies tied in with the project, with the shiny object project. It has nothing to do with just PulseX, has nothing to do with Pulsechain, has nothing to do with Hex. It has everything to do with you trying your hand and your luck somewhere else, because your bag in less than 70 days didn't do a 10,000x. Name one blockchain, name one DEX, name one coin, or let's just say blockchain and the DEX, because that's what we're dealing with right here, that did a 10,000x in 2 months. I don't, and then people want to talk about community. It always goes back to community. What community? What community? How many examples have come and gone, have come to pass to show you how soft, how weak, how divided, how fragmented this community really is? Multiple, numerous examples. This is just the latest. This is just the latest example where people are trying to create stories and allow folks in the community to believe that people who still holding on to the RH principles in crypto are now sort of like vilified. How? But this is what you got going on. This is what's happening here. This is what's happening here, people. If you believe in what RH has said throughout the years up to this point, you're now the bad guy. Make it make sense. You are now a person who's a fanboy. You are now a person who thinks RH is a god. You're now a person who sees you can't, it's almost like you can't think for yourself anymore. Meanwhile, this is what's worked up to this point. As far as being successful in crypto, no admin keys, immutable code, trustless yield. That goes out the window. But again, folks rather remain quiet. And the folks meaning these so-called OGs who had to face all kinds of attack in the beginning of Hex. In the first 6 months to a year of Hex, the world couldn't stand Hex. The entire crypto world, the world at large couldn't care less. They didn't even know. They still don't know about Hex. They barely know about crypto. But all these things, as far as being gatekept, being attacked in every direction by every type of community in crypto. And guess what they're doing now? They're attacking themselves. They're attacking each other. And then want to talk about mass adoption. On one breath, you want to talk about adopting people and bringing people on board. But on another breath, you talking about, fighting other people that believe in Richard Hart principles. And saying they just like mini-me's, Richard Hart fanboys. Like, none of it makes sense. None of it. And it's all about money. That's basically what it's all about. It's not about anything else. It's all about money. People, you have individuals. Like, if I tell you one thing, and it is what it is, folks will dismiss it. If somebody else says the same thing, it creates engagement and all kinds of weird, and it's the same message. Crypto Twitter doesn't dictate my life. YouTube doesn't dictate my life. None of this dictates my life as far as social media. We just use it as a form of communication and to remain abreast as to, news, information, and updates, especially with crypto, because crypto moves rapidly. But I find it very disingenuous, and it's been the same, where people out of nowhere come into the community, want to build their popularity off Hex again. This was said already, and this is understood. And then they introduce a shiny new object. And you got folks who claim to have been OGs and Hexicans, OGs in Hex, who are now attacking other Hexicans who want to stay true to the Richard Hart principles. Imagine what's going to happen when the bull market comes back. Because that's what's going to, we're going to see what's what. When you stand on truth, it doesn't matter how many lies you're told. You could never be in a position where you're defeated because you stand on truth. It's not even your personal truth. It's a truth. It's a fact. This is above feelings. It's above emotions. It's above what your personal ideas and thoughts are. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? I've seen, I recently saw a meme. People they're just saying, it's like the worst launch ever. PulseX is, just, being blown up in some kind of kitchen situation. This meme went from 10,000 negative 80. We're not talking about 2 years, 3 years past. We're talking about less than 3 months. If this was 3 years ago, would y'all let this go like this? Would you let this rock? I'm talking to the original people in Hex. If this was 3 years ago, would you guys accept this from members in your own community? No, you wouldn't, because people have come and gone. People have come and gone. And right now, it's almost like you welcome dissension. You welcome division. You welcome strife. You welcome conflict. None of this pushes our bags up and to the right. None of this. None of this. No one's talking about promoting the movie. Everyone's trying to prove how Richard was wrong. In the Hex community, we don't even need enemies. We have them in the community. We don't need enemies outside of the community. They're already here, planted within the community. They're doing a great job creating the division too. But not all of us are divided, okay? And people are seeing things for what they really are. The immaturity, the infantile behavior, the disrespect, the insults. For what? Does that increase the value of your bags? And this is why I said this before in the beginning, the very beginning. When you allow yourself to be distracted, taking your attention away from what really matters or what got you to a certain point, now you can't even focus on what got you here anymore. You're so distracted and divided and splintered in so many different directions. Your potential for you to really succeed in this space has lessened to a great degree, because you can't focus on what matters anymore. You divided your attention in a bunch of different ways. So something is going to suffer. And what's going to suffer are the important tokens, Hex, Pulse Chain, and PulseX. That's what's going to suffer, because you believe that others will outperform Hex, outperform Pulse Chain, outperform PulseX, because you believe that somebody else is smarter than you, created something that's better than what got you to this point. To be continued.